Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Rumors of Heresy. My name is Zareth, and I've got my first report of, I think I'll be doing 3 videos for the Las Vegas Open, just to recap my experience and everything. I'm trying to make it a bigger, cooler video series that hopefully I can kind of bring the tournament to you, and whereas I don't think I've quite done that perfectly for this edition, hopefully it's a little bit closer and we'll keep iterating to get to a better point. So if you like what I'm doing, folks, would really appreciate you hitting that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, comment, something to mount the algorithm. If we could get to 1,000 subscribers, that would help me tremendously and be so appreciated. I'm already so appreciated and honestly overwhelmed. I can't believe we're getting this close to 1,000 subs, so really appreciate it, guys. And so I have a couple kind of like storyline things to discuss. First, I'll be putting thumbnails in here so you can skip all of my blathering if you want to just skip straight to the battle report as always. But let's talk about some other things really quickly here, folks. So first off, as most of you probably know, I used to play this game fairly seriously back in 5th edition and 6th edition, which is about 10 years ago. And so the final tournament that I went to when I was quitting this game, on my way out, my son had just been born. Now he's 11, dear Lord. But I went to the very first Las Vegas Open. Actually, it was the very first one, it was 2014. It's impossible to find records of it now, except for in a couple random website places. But here's the army I took. I took an Eldar main with Dark Eldar allies. I had the Beast Star, and I was kind of the guy who popularized it. I think I was anyways. That's what my ego likes to share with people. So I ended up going 6-1 that year and making it to the top 4. I lost because well, we don't need to talk about that. I lost, and I'm not bitter at all. I remember exactly why I lost though, so of course probably bitter a little bit. There were about 200 players who played just under, apparently. So yeah, I went 6-1, very good result, and I tended to expect at least decent results, maybe not that good of a result, but that was you know, that's 11 years ago. That makes me a has-been. And if I fast forward it 11 years, this is what it looks like now. A few more than 200, in fact, just shy of 1,100 players, which makes it the biggest tournament ever on the whole planet. 1,100 people. Just I can't believe how big this hobby has gotten, folks. It is so cool. I love it. So this is just like one snapshot, but okay, before we get too far into it, one of the things I wanted to show you guys was this is the registration line on Thursday. So this is me fast forwarding it, but this is just kind of showing you how crazy long the line is. It's extended all the way into the casino. Like there's a casino, which we're at the Rio in Vegas, and so there's a casino and then there's like the convention center that's attached to the Rio, and you know, you can walk from the casino into the convention center eventually, but there's a lot of hallways to get there, and so you can just see the masses. People spent hours in this line. This literally, I fast forwarded, it's like double speed from how fast I was walking. You can see I was even walking faster than most people are walking. I'm passing people. I tend to be a pretty fast walker. And there's the other line. You guys saw the line on the left there for a minute. That's the line to get your merchandise after you register and get your like just your registration badge. That like you got a little thing on your wrist. So that they let you in. Then you still had a different line to wait in to get your like stuff, your pint glasses and stuff. So pretty crazy. Anyways, this is the list. So okay, I played 3 tournaments in a row, consecutive weekends. I played an RTT where I had to play Firestorm. You guys can find that report somewhere. I think it's probably my most recent video on this channel. And then finally we got the models mostly ready for playing this Gladius list, and so I played it at a January Open GT. That's what we call it, January Open. It's run by Fight Club in Denver. Very competitive meta, really crazy thing. And so let me show you guys what happened, just like a brief recap on the January Open, because I'm not going to do a report. I actually made one, and it was made very hastily, and I came off sounding very whiny and complaining, which I don't even think I felt that way. I just came across as that, and I don't need that energy to be out on the internet. So we're gonna delete that video as quickly as we can, and I will give you a quick, just very brief recap. Yeah, we're gonna do that. This is actually a photo of the list from then. And the models aren't completely done, but they are tournament legal. So here, let's, oh, hold on a sec. Okay, here we are, folks. So finally, I've been wanting to play Ultramarines since before they were cool. I've been making this Gladius Ultramarine list for a while. It didn't always have Roboute in it. That is a recent-ish change, but one way or another, this was like the Gladius Ultramarines, like high command, with Roboute, Marneus, Uriel Ventris, Lieutenant Titus. Titus is going with the Stern Guard, and they're deep striking because Uriel gives them deep strike. We've got some scouts, some company heroes, 3 ballistas dreadnoughts, 2 predators, and I went 3-3, folks. I went 3-3, and it was such a frustrating thing because I've only been playing this game again. Like, I restarted it. I've been playing for like just around 5 months, and when I came back to it initially, and I'd only been playing for like less than 2 months, I ended up going 4-2 with that. And so like, just the fact that I went 3-3, obviously it's a worse record, and it's backward progress, so to speak. You know, it's the opposite of progress. And you know, there were some things that went wrong in terms of my gameplay, like skill issues, of course, some list issues, and there were also just some really strange things where I know that there are things that I could have done to play better. There's always something you can do to play better, but there were also, the losses that I had were just kind of very strange in terms of the results, and they weren't necessarily indicative of like really poor gameplay on my part. I thought it's tough to tell. It's been really tough to parse, honestly, especially because I went to that event on Saturday, Sunday. Then I had 3 days to get ready, and then immediately went to the LVO on Thursday after the Sunday of the GT end. So anyways, there were just some weird things that happened. Like, there was one clock issue where I disagreed with one of my opponents, and really don't need to get into that. I don't think he did anything wrong. I definitely felt some emotions when that happened, and I ended up, I mean, the dice really just bend me over the most, and I typically can get away from dice excuses from almost any game, given a little bit of time and space, and I still just think, like, I had it in hand, and he had to, it was just, you know, sometimes you get unlucky. Sometimes that is actually the reason you lost. So I lost by 1 on that one. I lost, well, and because I had clock issues on that one, I really didn't want to play the final game with a clock, but then my opponent ended up hogging the whole clock. He ended up getting a 4th turn. I didn't get my 4th turn, so I lost by a couple there. And the one that I lost by 3 was the one that I was like, yeah, I could definitely need some better list things. And so I ended up making some changes. One of my biggest issues was I couldn't protect my expansion objective. Whenever I put something on there, if I was facing a shooty list, they would just kill it. They would just delete that, and what are you gonna do? Add something that helps with that, and also, you know, I needed something to threaten my opponent's objectives. I never, the whole tournament, threatened my opponent's expansion objectives, which is a huge flaw. And so what I ended up doing, I took out a ballistas, I took out the infiltrators in favor of I just swapped them out for some intercessors so that we could have another 20 points. And I already had 10 points anyways, so got rid of Titus, because whereas the sustained on his stuff helped the Stern Guard for sure, and it's really nice, you don't need it as much as I needed a combi lieutenant so that I could have a lone op protecting my home object, or my expansion objective, which ended up helping tremendously all through Las Vegas Open. And yeah, took out a ballistas because I didn't need as much shooting as I had, and instead added 10 jump pack intercessors, which if you want to see the full list, folks, you can find it in the video description. It'll be there. You can find exactly the loadouts that I had, but otherwise, that's what's going on with this list. I needed something that could threaten my opponent's objectives, and I needed something that could protect my own expansion objective. And that's basically it. I had like 1 day to make changes before I had to submit lists, and this is what I came up with. So let's talk about how the actual battle report went for my first game. And actually, let's talk about it right now. We've got, so I'm facing an inner circle task force, facing a guy who, yeah, his name is Martin, and he. He's a really nice guy. I knew nothing about the Inner Circle Task Force. I don't think I've ever faced it before, and it's a pretty standard list. Honestly, the Inner Circle companions go with Azrael. The Lion is there. He's got 2 squads of Deathwing Knights. Gladiator Lancers are scary, and Impulsors are pretty good. It's pretty good. Pretty good list, honestly. Pretty standard. And the one thing I will say about it, like, none of the stratagems, I was like, none of them have huge red flags. Like, they were no advance and charge, no fall back, shoot and charge, nothing like that. Like, Gladius with Dark Angels tends to be the one that I'm most afraid of, because it makes these really strong units even stronger, but that's not what he took. So and I've faced Dark Angels a few times before, if you guys have seen my reports. Not that I'm not afraid of them, but there's something that I feel mostly, at least, comfortable, and I understand how they work. So, anyways, let's jump into it here, folks. Okay, so here we are, folks, and so this is, again, a little bit different from the other reports that I've done, because, frankly, some of these battle reports take forever to make, and they don't warrant the number of hours that I have to spend to edit them into where they need to be. And so we're trying something new. Last tournament report that I did for the Rogue Trader tournament, we used a thing called Epic Pen. It's a program that we use to draw arrows and stuff. So what I'm going to be doing, I'll be doing that, and I made it with an overlay, and I'll be able to show you guys my secondaries and everything, and my primary score. I don't know exactly how it's going to be. Obviously, feedback is very important and helpful for this, but we're going to try to make it so that I don't have to spend, 7 to 8 hours making one battle report. Instead, hopefully only like 4 or 5 hours. We'll see how it goes. We'll see, folks. Hopefully it's awesome. Let's jump into it, shall we? So here we are, folks. We've got this is after my first turn. He got second turn, which that lucky dog. And so you can just see my guys just kind of moved up. We have Roboute here in the middle. We have Uriel with the company heroes. We have Marneus with his company heroes. They're all just kind of hanging out. I think I put Uriel right here in the very top, just so that he could vect things as much as he saw fit. And otherwise, we have some scouts. We've ended up putting, so they didn't have the terrain set up when we first got here. Like, it was just in a big pile in the center, and so they did our pairings, and we got to the table, and there's just a big pile of terrain, and so we had to make it ourselves, and we were kind of hasty about it because the clock's ticking, man. Like round 1 is underway, and we ended up setting it up so slightly different than I think it should have been. So the center objective, I don't think, was intended to be contested through the buildings, but that's how we set it up, and we ended up just deciding to go for it because we didn't want to spend a huge amount of time fiddling with terrain when the clock was ticking. And so especially because it took a long time to get to our table, because no one was even in the remotely correct place, and the flood of traffic was immense. It was crazy. So anyways, we've got our scouts here. They're just waiting to do uppy downy. He didn't place anything in reserve, so that means I didn't have to screen anything for my first game. For all of my games, I ended up putting one ballistas in just regular strategic reserve, and then deep striking the stern guard and deep striking the jump back intercessors. On his side, you can see he hasn't placed anything yet. So on his side, he's got all sorts of stuff, guys. It is absolutely bonkers. No, it's not that crazy. He's got the inner circle companions with Azrael here. He's got the Deathwing Knights here. I think there's just more Deathwing Knights behind this wall. He's got some Intercessors somewhere back here. He's got the Hellblasters back here as well with the Lieutenant. And then if we scroll down just a little bit more, he's got some more Intercessors, and he's got another Gladiator, and that's basically it. And the idea for me was we just need to threaten my two main objectives here, and then be able to mess with his objective. And that was basically it. We just want to score as much as we can. It's taken hold, which is the most standard kind of thing, the objective that we could have. And we got the Combi Lieutenant just hanging out here holding this objective, just barely. And that's basically it. We're just going to wait until he kind of exposes his own guys, though. So you can see, even though my guys had moved up into this little fortress here, the tanks and everything, they're all just staying hidden. And so that's basically it. A pretty uneventful first turn. On his turn, and I don't have a picture of this, but he moved his intercessors out into the open just to kind of, I don't know, threaten these objectives. He had his intercessors didn't quite get onto the objective, so I think he had a secondary that would have been helpful for him to get on this objective. Here, let's look, because this is one of the new features, guys. It'll look better eventually. So I guess not. No, he didn't. He couldn't get on the objective, but yeah. So he. And you can see a couple spoilers, I guess, but he had bring it down. Eventually, he got it on turn 2. That's like what all the columns here. You can see each column is one of the turns. But we each got raised banners. And then he got Cull the Horde, which he can't do. So then he got bring it down. He kept bring it down, and then he had sabotage, which he couldn't get. So he threw that away. Meanwhile, I got small recover assets, and then I re-rolled Marked for Death and got engaged on all fronts, which I wasn't in a position to really get that one either without exposing scouts needlessly or something. So a pretty uneventful turn. I got 4. He got, I guess I should have shown that he had 1 point on the left hand side, which that's my own bad. We both raised banners once with our intercessors, and that was basically it. So on his turn 2, so this is after I'd taken a second turn. He had poked his Lancer out, and I had 2 ballistas. There I was like, okay guys, it's go time. And we're gonna get the jump on these Lancers. We're gonna take them out. It's gonna die. And as you can see, this is at the bottom of 2, and the Lancer is still alive, and my ballistas, which one of them came in from reserves right here, one of them came out from hiding right here. They both shot at the Lancer and did a number of damage, but didn't kill the stupid thing, because I couldn't roll the right things. He rolled the right saves and he lived. And then on his turn, he was able to use his Lancer to one-shot this ballistas, and then use another Lancer to one-shot this one. He didn't even need Oh the Moment, which he didn't put Oh the Moment on either of those guys. He just one-shot my ballistas. Which was so depressing, guys. I hate Lancers the most. So otherwise, though, he's over here hanging out with. He took his Hellblasters out, and he wanted to be able to Overwatch with them, which wasn't a bad idea, honestly. But we also. it did kind of leave him flapping in the wind, though. And meanwhile, gosh, I tried to zoom in, guys. This is all still a work in progress. Appreciate your patience. So he got his ICC out of the vehicle, and then so we marched him here. And as a reactive move, I couldn't. My scouts weren't really in range to be able to reactive move at that point, but because he moved his Terminators, his Deathwing Knights, into this corner, my scouts, which had been just contesting this objective, they had attacked it. I had put them in tactical doctrine so that they get a full 6-inch reactive move. And so they moved here to kind of just block the ICC from charging Uriel's squad, because I really didn't want Uriel to just die like a dog. And so the scouts were just going to die for Uriel and just screen him out. And what he ended up doing was he didn't want to charge the scouts, because then that would open the ICC to all manner of unpleasantness. I could heroic intervene with Roboute, with Uriel's squad, with Marneus' squad. He just really didn't want a part of that. So instead he tried to charge the Lone Op Lieutenant, and he failed it. And then he was going to re-roll it, and Uriel vected him so that his reroll wasn't that effective. And so he did kill those ballistas, but then otherwise nothing too crazy. He got on the objective with one Terminator, which was good, I suppose. But yeah, it's got to be a go turn for me this time. It has to be. If it doesn't, if I don't have a go turn now, it will be literally never. So yeah, I did score a little bit more. I got area denial and defense stronghold in my own turn, which was a pretty good combination. And then he got extend battle lines, which is an automatic one, of course, for the most part, especially early game. And then he killed those 2 ballistas for bring it down, and he scored 5. I scored 15 on Tagenhold because I had some scouts holding that objective that he couldn't contest on turn 1. So that was a nice little boost. The primary was really very good for me. So all of his stuff is just there, and now you can see I brought everything in. So the one thing I want to point out here as well, folks. Let's go back a couple slides. I did during his turn, so the bottom of 2, I rapid ingressed my jump pack intercessors. So good for them. They're right there. They're ready to mess with the objective, which is something I was never able to do with the old list. So at least during the open. The January open. So anyways, we've got the Stern Guard up here, and so they landed, and between them and Uriel's squad doing 3 damage a pop with the heavy bolter guy, and the Predator doing 3 damage a pop with the autocannons, and Marneus' squad, who can advance, shoot, and charge, also doing 3 damage a pop with his heavy bolter. And then I was able to kill most of the ACC. There was still Azrael hanging on and everything, but the Stern Guard managed to just push the delete button and killed the whole squad. So that was awesome. And then I didn't want the Hellblasters to be able to shoot me after it's kind of a clever move for him to move the Hellblasters. They were back here, I couldn't see them in the ruin, and so he moved them out here, and if I had shot them to death, they would have all been able to shoot back on death and really cause a lot of damage. Instead, they did Overwatch Roboute, and you can see he actually got quite a few hits on Roboute, but I saved a lot of them, and he ended up only doing 2 damage. And then instead of shooting them, I just charged them into non-existence, and they just stopped existing. It was wonderful, and that way they didn't get to fire on death. You could see the scouts that were initially back here, they went uppy downy, and because he didn't have anything back here, the Hellblasters had moved up, the ICC were here, the vehicle, I also was able to shoot the vehicle to death. The the scouts were able to go here. I think they needed to establish locus, so that was cool. You can see the lion is here. The Terminators are hanging out on this objective, so I have some scouts that moved here just to threaten this objective, just to contest it. And like I said, I don't think I was supposed to be able to contest from inside the building, but he's doing the same. So far it's fair. And then over here on the bottom, you can see I had the jump pack intercessors go and just charge the Lancer and kill it. And that felt good, honestly. I was gonna have them just contest this objective, but instead I was like, you know what, why don't we have you guys kill the stupid Lancer, and then you guys can go and mess with, you guys can go play tag with the Deathwing Knights over here. And that's basically it. I mean, in my turn 2, I guess, I'd been able to kill his intercessors, so that was good. And then now, I mean, he doesn't have that much left, honestly, guys. I was able to take out quite a bit. I killed his tank, ICC, the Hellblasters with Lieutenant, so he's got a full squad of Deathwing Knights, the Lion, so that's still a ton of points, and then 1 Gladiator Lancer, but that was basically it. I'd killed almost everything. I had a pretty commanding amount of, like, I had a lot of control over at least my expansion objective, and I was able to threaten this center objective quite well. Pretty good position here. And so let's see, I got established locus for the max. I got secure no man's land as well, because I guess I was holding the center with scouts. And then so he got no prisoners. I don't even know what he killed to get no prisoners during his turn 3. Probably something epic. I really don't know. Maybe, did he kill Roboute one time? And I stood up? That could be. I think he killed the scout. Oh, he killed these scouts. He killed these scouts here. And then, I don't know, did he kill, like, my tank? I don't, maybe. No one knows, guys. It's lost to the vagaries of time. But one way or another, he got 5 on no prisoners, and so he did move his Terminators into the middle, and so I was able to just delete all the Terminators in the middle here. The Marneus squad moved on to the objective. Oh yeah, the scouts are just dead here, and then I did one thing. I had Storm Hostile, and so I think I would have gotten it here anyways, honestly, with Roboute and company, with Uriel's squad and everything, killing the inner circle companions, or sorry, the Deathwing Knights. But the other thing is, I made sure, I wasn't sure that I was going to get there, right? I was going to have to charge. There's uncertainty when you're going to charge a bunch of Terminators and stuff, and so instead, one of the things that I did was I just moved the jump pack intercessors onto the objective. And you just put 6 of them on there. These guys are OC1 each, and so you can see I did like a pittance of damage to these guys, but the jump pack intercessors got onto this objective, and that would have been enough for Storm Hostile objective on its own. That would have been enough just to take it. And I did this I did this a lot during the tournament. And not just with these guys, I did it with scouts and other units as well. All you have to do, guys, if you want to hold an objective, like, I couldn't kill these Terminators with 10 jump pack intercessors. That's not really how that interaction works. I guess I could get lucky, but otherwise, if I charged them, they probably would have chopped me into little pieces, and then I wouldn't have even held the objective. I would have just sacrificed myself, and he wouldn't have had to use any resources on his turn. He could have just done something else with the Terminators, having killed my guys during my own turn. Instead, I'm moving the jump pack intercessors onto the objective and just sitting there. And then, of course, they're going to get charged next turn, and they're going to die, and it'll be a sad occasion. We'll all mourn them, but he'll have to do it on his turn, and he'll also be missing primary score from that turn, so I call that a win. And then he had Lion advance or just move up here. Oh yeah, he charged the Predator. That's what happened. The Predator is gone because Lion ate it, and so I was like, okay, I just don't want him to get my home objective, at least not early on. So because it's stickied by the intercessors, they just move up and they're like, okay, look, you can't get to it next turn. Yeah, you'll have to do it next time. You'll have to do it on turn 4 or 5. And what ended up happening was he declared a he declared a secret mission because he hadn't been scoring that well anyways, and the secret mission happened to be kill all my my battle line. And so I apparently just fed him the battle line, which I'd never had someone do a secret mission on me, actually. Believe it or not, it's just not an experience that I've had so far. And so, anyways, he did end up, he feasted well, he killed my intercessors. The Terminators, after apparently I killed one of them with the jump packs, but the Terminators did kill my jump pack intercessors, but at that point he can't score primary anymore. Actually, that's not a thing he could do, that he wasn't able to. And he's got a Lancer here that could threaten this objective, but not enough to kill Marneus. Like, the Marneus squad is still mostly intact. He's totally out of range for turn 4 to be able to threaten this center objective, and even if he could get to it, he can't really, like, there's not much point because he can't hold that objective for anything because he took a special mission, and so, or a secret mission. So at the end here, well, this is turn 4. I got Storm Hostile and Extend Battle Lines. I'm way ahead. I'm, going into turn 5, 65 to 32, and you can see my primaries 15, 10, and 10. So, anyways, he did end up getting his secret mission. So we got 20 for that, and then I could have. There's no prisoners that I got. I got assassination. Maybe I could have gotten in range and deleted the lion, or killed some terminators, or I probably could have killed that predator, honestly, or the gladiator if I wanted to get no prisoners. But at the end of the day, like, I got max on my primary. My opponent actually ended up getting he got 35 on primary because he got that 20, but then he didn't score super well on secondaries. And I was like, look, I'm tired. We both had kind of a stressful game, not that stressful, but like, we're both tired. It would be nice to just kick back and take an early lunch, and so I didn't score anything on here. Maybe I could have, maybe I wouldn't have been able to, who really knows. I mean, I got re-rolled, I think I re-rolled assassination and got bring it down. I just wanted something that I could passively earn, like behind enemy lines or something like that. Clearly didn't happen. Oh, and behind enemy lines was already taken apparently, and I re-rolled that one. So I have all the CP. That's one of the nice things about this list. But at the end of the day, I got the win, 90 to 69. Some people would actually argue that he got the better score, and at least the nicer score. Nice. So that's basically it, though. It's a good game by Martin, actually. Here, let's talk about the match. And that's it, folks. So far, so good. Martin had a couple evidences of, like, he had a little bit of rust, and that's not negative at all. I've really enjoyed my game against Martin, actually. Really nice guy. He's from Germany. Spoke really, really good English, which, like, you could tell he had an accent, but, like, really impressive. I'm always impressed by guys who want to come into this country and speak a second language and actually are able to communicate. It's just impressive, and he did better than most. So good on him. And he was there with his dad, which was so cool to see, because I'm getting into this hobby with my 10, I guess he's an 11 now, year-old son, and that's been so much joy. So I got to meet his dad, and like, one of my favorite stories ever. Just seeing him, running into him a couple other times throughout the tournament, just really, really awesome guy. And ended up, he got his legs under him, man. He went 3-3, which obviously that didn't win the tournament or whatever, but like 3-3, a lot of people I very much respect ended up going 3-3 this at LVO. Like, there's a lot of good players at LVO. Going 3-3 is not something to be embarrassed of. And so whereas he had a little bit of rust, like, he still started, he just beat people down, man. Like, 3-3 is a very respectable record. So it was a good ending for me. Obviously, yeah, he was a good enough player that he actually could have threatened me some. I think I got lucky that he was a little bit rusty. So, the rapid ingress and just in general, jump pack intercessors, guys. The 10-man squad. People are like, dude, why don't you have 2 5-mans? Like, shouldn't you be doing? And I'm like, well, maybe I should. Like, it's probably more efficient to do it that way on some levels, but it's also more expensive. I didn't have an extra 20 points to do that with, so I had 160 points. So I took the big squad, and honestly, the big squad did some cool, like, you guys saw that move where I was able to jump onto the objective where his Deathwing Knights were on. He had 5 OC, and I was able to put 6 guys on there, which you can't do that with a 5-man squad, right? So it was nice, and honestly, throughout the tournament, you guys will see, like, their ability to throw grenades and get into inconvenient places and just do charge mortals like that. It's a nice utility squad for 160 points, and it puts out 40 attacks. I guess 39, but 3 of them are power fists. It's a nice squad. You can put Lance on them with Gladius. Like, it has a lot of good synergy. You can screen with them. Like the list goes on. They do some good work for 160 points. I was very happy with them. And being able to rapid ingress to threaten the expansion objective is exactly what I needed. You're not going to find a Ballistus Dread doing what they did. So that was pretty good. And so gosh, the tournaments are so huge these days, guys. If you went to a tournament and someone was like, yeah, there's 500 people in the tournament, that you'd be like, wow, I'm at one of the biggest tournaments ever, and that would be true. It's probably one of the very biggest tournaments ever at 500, and that's how many are just left who are undefeated. Like, there's 520 people who at this point have already won a game, and so they're all like potentially winning players. Like, they're all really good. And I guess like, very small spoiler for the rest of my run, none of the players that I played had a losing record by the end of it. They were all either 3-3 or better. So anyways, 525 players is just an insane number, and it just, these events can kind of just boggle the mind. It's a cool thing. It's a spectacle. It's awesome. I'm so happy that I get to do this. So anyways, that's it, folks. My next report will probably have the next couple games on it. Yeah, I think I'll be doing games 2, 3, and 4. 3 I won't be covering as much for reasons that I'll tell you about. But one way or another, this is it, folks. If you like this, if you want more of these videos, if you want to be part of what we're doing, you can always join the Discord server, join the Instagram, which I am doing a terrible job of updating. I keep meaning to, but you can find the links to those in the video description, and just don't forget to hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel, etc. And we'll see you guys next time. Let me know what your thoughts are on the new way of doing reports with the arrows and the epic pen and the zooming and stuff. Is it too distracting? Does it suck? Is it really just the most awesome, and you just really can't believe how amazing I'm doing? Anyways, the respectful feedback is so appreciated, folks, and I'm gonna leave you here. So thank you guys so much for watching, and remember that if you didn't hear it from me, it's probably heresy. We'll see you next time, folks.